Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth when it works. The John Campea Show, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio by Jonathan Voico.
One more time.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well, one more time means it can be better than it was.
And most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show a part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show is when we take your live comments and questions. Do you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or an observation you'd like us to address? Go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And the good news about the tip link is that it's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're listening to our podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching the show a little bit later in the day, you can still use the tip link to send in a question anytime. And if you send one in when we're not doing the show live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys, a little bit of housekeeping here. Once again, the movie meetups continue this week. As for those of you who don't know, movie meetups are simply me telling you guys a movie theater and a movie showtime that I'll be at watching. And if you guys want to buy tickets to go see the movie too, great. And for about an hour or so afterwards, I'll hang out in front of the theater and meet people and take pictures, whatever. We've done about 8 of them already.
They're fun, too.
Something like that. And there are a lot. You were at the Las Vegas one.
It was really fun.
It's a lot of fun, and thank you to everybody who's come out to these things. So they pick up this Thursday, October the 9th at 7:30 p.m. screening of Tron Ares in Kansas City at the AMC Town Center 20 Leawood. Then I'm going to be home in Hamilton, Ontario on Tuesday, October the 14th for a 7 p.m. screening of Tron Ares at the Cineplex Ancaster Silver City. Then the next night, I will be in the Chicago area at the AMC South Barrington for a 6:30 p.m. screening of Tron Ares. And then the very next night, I will be in Indianapolis, Indiana at the AMC Indianapolis 17 for a 7:10 p.m. screening of Good Fortune. And by the way, Olympic gold medalist and undefeated movie trivia competitor, Cody Miller, is going to be there joining us as well for that one in Indianapolis. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys then. By the way, guys, some of these may already be sold out, but I think there are still some seats left at some of them. Check the movie theater listings if you want to come on out and join us for that. All right, guys. With that all down, let's get things started off, and let's go with this. After I saw the movie Call Me By Your Name, I said, that kid, this Timothy Chalamet, I didn't know how to pronounce his name at the time. Chalamet?
T-Shammy.
The guy who escaped being eaten by Armie Hammer in that movie. I said, that's not just a random good, this kid's good. And then after I saw him in that movie he did with Steve Carell, what was it called again? Dear Boy or Sweet Boy or Fuck Boy or whatever it was called. After I saw him in that as like a drug addicted son and everything, I was like, okay, guys, this kid, Beautiful Boy is what it was called. Thank you, David. Beautiful Boy. I said, this kid is the only actor alive today who has the potential to be the next Daniel Day-Lewis. Not that he was the next Daniel Day-Lewis. I said, this is the only kid I think around right now who's got the potential to be the next Daniel Day-Lewis. And all he has done since that time is proved me right. He's still ridiculously young. And it seems inconceivable, but every time he seems to get better and better. He just seems to get better with every performance he gives. And now he's got this new movie coming out called Marty Supreme. And that first trailer teaser drop, and I thought, that looks fun.
Directed by the other Safdie brother.
Directed by the Safdie's got 2 movies out right now. We got Smashing Machine by the one Safdie brother, and now we got Marty Supreme. Well, last night, they did a surprise screening. A totally shock surprise screening of Marty Supreme at the New York Film Festival. And apparently, I talked to one person who was there. They're saying this thing might now be the front runner to be the best picture of the year. And apparently, he literally finished editing the film. Safdie finished editing the film at 2 a.m. the night before the screening. And listen, so this comes to us from the good folks over
That's
at
like
IndieWire.
That's Rob's work schedule.
I know, man.
This is the folks over at IndieWire. And I'm going to read a bunch of this at length because I think this is really cool before we dive into it here. But their headline here is Marty Supreme brings down the house as surprise New York Film Festival screening, major exhilarating filmmaking, and Timothée Chalamet's best performance yet. It goes on to write the following. One of our biggest questions going into the 2025 fall movie season was how Josh and Benny Safdie would fare on their own as feature directors after creatively splitting up. The brothers had worked separately before, but the prospect of each one following Uncut Gems with an ambitious A24 film of his own in the span of a few months was thrilling for cinephiles curious about the next creative directions. Of course, the one Safdie brother just did Smashing Machine, which may be flopping at the box office, but he won Best Director at the film festival. People seem to like it. It seems pretty good. Well, check this out. But after weeks of buzz and chatter, the film made its surprise debut as a secret screening at the 2025 New York Film Festival on Monday, October the 6th. Dennis Lim, director of programming of the Film Society of Lincoln Center, introduced Safdie before the screening, smiling over calling it secret, nodding to the fact that most people in the room seemed to know what they were about to get. Marty Supreme stars Timothée Chalamet as a ping pong star with ambitions to grow the sport in America. Though the film has previously been described as something closer to a globe-trotting adventure like Catch Me If You Can than a sports movie. All right. Then he talks about how he just finished editing the film at 2 a.m., all that kind of stuff. All right, so here's what people are saying about it. IndieWire's own chief film critic, David Ehrlich, shared on X a cheeky note. Marty Supreme, a.k.a. one paddle after another, cannot believe we got two American movies this good back to back. Our editor-at-large, IndieWire's, Ann Thompson, who is amazing, I love Ann, was a bit more precise, writing on X, Josh Safdie going solo delivers a wild rush of non-stop adrenaline, much like Uncut Gems. Timothée Chalamet's no-holds-barred performance could be his Wolf of Wall Street. He'll be nominated for sure. Senior Hollywood reporter, writer David Canfield shared, major, exhilarating filmmaking from Josh Safdie, Timothée Chalamet's career best performance. He was born to play this guy with a tremendous Odessa, a Zion leading a superb cast. It's a wow. Variety co-editor-in-chief Ramin Sedhuid wrote on X, Marty Supreme is Uncut Gems meets Catcher in the Rye meets Jerry Maguire.
Wow.
Carried by Timothée Chalamet's best performance yet. I loved it so much. Inverse's senior entertainment editor wrote, to call this a sports movie isn't enough. This is a manic madcap odyssey that is as exhilarating as it's exhausting. Timothy's star power is so bright and undeniable that it's basically a supernova.
What?
Nesbeck's Pictures editor-in-chief Matt Naglia wrote, is a sprawling and electrifying sports epic bursting with vitality from the first frame to the last. Josh Safdie delivers a masterful slice of organized chaos on a larger scale he's ever worked with before, propelling us through Marty's relentless quest to prove to everyone he's the best ping pong player in the world. One of the most invigorating and best sports stories ever put to screen. I mean, these, by the way, none of these are some of your traditional, quote farm, Gus's gas station movie reviews .fart things. This is IndieWire. This is Variety. This is Inverse. This is Awards Watch. These are the people, and it just caught this place by surprise. And again, I talked to one person who was there, and they just said they can't believe how good this movie is. They said it's just a thrill. It's thrilling, which I'm gotta admit, I'm a little bit surprised to hear because when I watched the trailer, I thought the trailer was good.
Yeah.
But the word thrilling didn't come to my mind. But it seems across the board.
What's the matter, John? Ping pong ain't your game.
I will have you know, my friend, I competed for Team Hamilton in an international ping pong competition.
The videos are right
Wow.
next to his breakdance.
Right next to the breakdown. No, but I mean, what
I'm not a bad ping pong player.
What I meant to say was no shade on ping pong.
No,
But
no
it's
shade on ping pong. I love ping pong.
The word thrilling in ping pong, although I've seen some ping pong matches that indeed are pretty thrilling.
Or table tennis, as some people like
Yes.
to put it.
Yeah, I mean, but this is like
And
professional.
Forrest
level.
Gump.
Or
That
maybe
was some
today
story.
they should call it table pickleball. I don't know. Whatever is the more popular thing.
It
But
doesn't
I'll
matter.
tell
It's
you
a
what,
character study, so that's what's the thrilling part.
This sounds amazing.
It does sound
everybody's like losing their minds. And look, let's take a second. Let's look at the track record of the guy I call the next Daniel Day-Lewis.
T-Shammy.
T-Sham. He's now got this, which people are now saying this is his best performance ever. I don't care what anybody says, man. His performance in that Willy Wonka movie was outstanding.
Oh, he was great.
He was so good in that, suddenly becoming a song and dance man at the same time. He just got Oscar noms for A Complete Unknown, which he was fantastic in. Then, of course, there's his work in Dune, which is insane. And even the movie
Let's not forget
hated.
this.
What's that?
Let's not forget this gem.
Oh my God. It's all about the yeet yeet. That is one of the, seriously, that moment on Saturday Night Live was one of the funny. It's all about the yeet yeet. What? You know, the yeet yeet. Anyway, I didn't know he could do stuff like that. And I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. Then even the movie I really didn't like, that, the cannibal movie.
Oh yeah.
Bones and All, I think.
Oh, right.
Bones and all.
Like, I wasn't a fan of the movie, but holy crap, his performance in it. Like, this guy is next level. And the scariest thing is, and I feel like we say this after every one of his performances, but it's absolutely true. He just keeps getting better every freaking time. The ceiling gets higher and higher and higher and higher. There is like no limit right now. He's 9,000. Like he's beyond it. It's just crazy what it is.
We've never seen these levels before.
Well,
It's insane.
The real brilliance of his career too, and he must have great managers, agents behind him.
Yeah.
Is he'll go do an indie film like this for A24 and follow it up with Dune Messiah or Dune 3.
I know, which is crazy. I mean, I'm honestly starting to believe this guy could play almost any kind of role. I mean, pack some muscle on, pack some more body weight on. I mean, literally, he could be an action star. Well, hell, he's got the body he's got, and he's Paul Atreides. I mean, so anyway.
And
Rob,
he's hanging out with the Kardashians.
Well, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
That's the one knock on him. That is the one knock on him.
I don't
But
know about
whatever.
that. It's a knock somewhere.
Rob, you've seen. Anyway, you've seen now the reactions to this. You're reading the reviews coming out of it. Where has your anticipation level been for this movie, and where's it at right now after reading what we're reading?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I thought Uncut Gems was a knockout from a directorial standpoint. That movie's, the performances. Didn't we talk about Kevin Durant yesterday?
Oh, I love him.
I mean, that film was great, but it's really interesting to me that the Safdie brothers, broke up, but they each made these sports movies about these characters, obviously different milieus. But I love the fact that, look, I haven't seen The Smashing Machine. I'm going to see it. But still, it might not have done well at the box office, but a respectable film that delivered an incredible performance and by all rights, a really great piece of work. And now to hear about this being some transcendent ping pong, I mean, it's going to be the best movie ever. It's the Star Wars, the Godfather of ping pong movies, clearly. That's pretty interesting, too, because what I love to see is that these are passion projects. These brothers got to go out and make passion projects. They didn't go sell out and make some big IP dinosaur movie. They didn't do that. They made
But that sounds fun, too.
Well, it could be.
Who wouldn't want to make one of those?
Especially if they're playing ping pong.
Yes.
But I'm always interested in authorship, and we get these two brothers that clearly work well together and were great filmmakers. Both went off and made passion projects that we're getting, and this sounds, it sounds like the kind of movie that we never get anymore, that a major studio would never make. And it's what A24, it's right in their wheelhouse. I'm excited. I mean, hearing these kinds of notices, I mean, I don't care what genre of a movie it is. If it's wildly entertaining, and it sounds like it's wildly entertaining on a number of different levels, I'm there. That's what I want to see from movies. I want to be transported. Show me a world I've never seen before. And let me tell you, John, you've been there. I know nothing about professional ping pong playing.
Okay, let me ask you this question, though. Let me ask you this. One of the big frustrating things for me, and things that I just don't understand right now, people, year after year, people seem to just not want to give Timothée Chalamet his due when it comes to the general audience, right? It's like, oh, Chalamet? Oh, but people hear me say, I think Chalamet's the next Daniel Day-Lewis, and people are like, really? That? Like, what do you think it is about Timothée Chalamet that seems to be holding him back from getting the recognition that he deserves from a lot of the movie audience? Because I think he is absolutely one of the greats in the world right now.
I think it's his looks.
Think so?
I really do. I think that like
he looks so young.
I think he looks young, and I think he looks a little slight. You know, he's sort of androgynous in his look. He's very pretty. And I think a little age and seasoning will do him well. But I'm with you. That kid has never not delivered a great performance. I've never seen him in anything that he wasn't great in. And Call Me by Your Name, I mean, he delivered a great performance in that. I've never not seen him command the screen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do think he doesn't, you know, he's not your traditional leading man. And I think that and he does look young. You know, he does look young.
He does look young. I'll give you that.
But you put him in a role like that speech he gives in Dune 2.
Dude,
to the Fremen,
it is
bro.
one of my
Come on.
favorite moments. I'm the one who points the way. That is like one of my favorite moments in film history. When he walks into that Fremen War Council and he starts giving his speech. I have played that one scene almost as much as I've played the On Your Left scene from Endgame. Like on my TV, just watch it over and over and over again.
And I also, A Complete Unknown.
Oh,
He was terrific as Bob Dylan, young Bob Dylan. And I think that as people are seeing him, what I like is what he's establishing is that he's a true actor's actor, is that he can play these diverse roles. He can be Paul Atreides, he can play a ping pong champ, and he can play Bob Dylan. He is not some pretty boy that's being
and Willy Wonka.
And Willy Wonka. I mean, the breadth of his talent is on display. You can't deny that he commands the screen. And I think he's making some terrific choices. He's really running his career well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really hand it to him because he is not resting on his laurels, man.
Two things I'd really like to see him in. One, and this sound weird, I would love to see him in a really well done romantic comedy. I'd like to see him show that, because that's kind of an angle we haven't got to see him in yet. And this is the nerd in me. I'd love to see him in a DC movie, man. DC or Marvel, whatever. I'd like to see him like put one foot in that world too, so he can truly complete.
He'd be a great Flash.
A complete resume. He would be a good Flash. He'd be a very good Flash.
And I could see him doing that because he would roll in, do a superhero role, and roll out and probably go win an Oscar for something crazy like Marty Supreme, but something else.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? The first reactions from Marty Supreme are now out, and it's from a lot of the heavyweight outlets, IndieWire, Variety, Awards Watch, and they're saying this thing is crazy good. They're saying it's his best performance of his career. They're saying it's thrilling. They're saying it's amazing. Again, I talk to people saying this might be the best film of the year. This might replace One Battle After Another as front running for Best Picture of the Year. We'll see. Whatever you guys think about all this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's new movie, The Smashing Machine, speaking of the Safdie brothers, got some really good reception from the 7 people who went to go see it. The movie is by far the lowest opening weekend of Dwayne Johnson's career. It opened to $6 million. Not 16, not 6T, $6 million, which is even far below what the low estimates were that went into it. And, you know, we had what I believe was a fair discussion on the show yesterday, because listen, I don't hide it. I am a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fan. I am unapologetic about it. I think the guy is an incredible entertainer. I think he's got charisma that oozes out of his pores. I have a really good time watching him on screen. I've always been a fan. I will always be a fan. But that said, we had what I think, again, was a pretty fair discussion on the show yesterday about, is this a $6 million opening? Is this a commentary on the marketing campaign? Is it a commentary on the nature of the movie? Or could it be a commentary on where Dwayne is in his career right now? Well, anyway, Dwayne Johnson kind of addressed the box office elephant in the room a little bit in a statement that he put out. And I want us to talk about whether we think what he said is a fair thing to say or not. So this comes to us from the folks over at Variety, who wrote, Dwayne Johnson experienced the worst box office opening of his career with The Smashing Machine, the A24 drama that debuted to a rough 5.9 million domestically. But the actor is taking the bad news in stride. Johnson posted on Instagram that you can't control the box office results and praised director Benny Safdie for changing his life with the film, which cast Johnson as MMA fighter Mark Kerr. The full statement was, "From deep in my grateful bones, thank you to everyone who has watched The Smashing Machine," Johnson posted. "In our storytelling world, you can't control box office results, but what I realize you can control is your performance and your commitment to completely disappear and go elsewhere, and I will always run to that opportunity." Okay.
That's a very classy thing to say.
I listen, I'll tell you what, I think that is a great statement. I really do. The part I want to focus in on, though, is that part where he says you can't control the box office, because in today's movie watching world, and not just today's, but I think for a long time it's been this. You know, I've been in many conversations. I'm sure you guys have been in many, many conversations. Say, you know, I think X and X is a good actor. Well, if they're so good, why did that movie flop?
Right.
They can't be in any movie. And Dwayne Johnson comes out and says you can't control the box office. I mostly agree with him. There are some points that I disagree. And let me cover that right here. The point that I disagree is when you say you can't control the box office. It was like, well, as an actor in the movie, you are part of the marketing. You know, you are part of the strategy and the machine that goes into trying to get people excited for it, whether it's, you know, doing the talk shows or using your own social media. But I would say more than maybe anybody else in the world, maybe Ryan Reynolds does it a little bit more, but Dwayne Johnson, when he's in a movie, if you put Dwayne Johnson in one of your movies, you never have to wonder if he's going to promote that movie. He will go above and beyond, maybe to the point that we get sick of it, but he goes above and beyond trying to promote his own films and all that kind of stuff. So I would say that there is a degree to which they're part of it. But at the same time, Rob, all an actor can do is show up, take the role and the script they're given, and try to give the best performance they can to help make it as good of a product as they can. I would argue that making the best movie you can is the job of the writers, directors, actors. Now, getting people interested to want to run out and go see it, that's a marketing issue. And, you know, you, I think, very wisely pointed out yesterday when we were talking about Smashing Machine, is that one of the things the movie kind of failed to do with their marketing was identify who's this movie for. Is it for MMA fans? Is it for Dwayne Johnson fans? Is it for an older audience? Is it for a younger audience? And I think you put your finger on it really well. I don't know that I ever got a sense about who that movie was for in their marketing. The whole marketing campaign seemed to be based around, look, guys, you can barely recognize Dwayne Johnson. That seemed to be the entire crux of their marketing campaign. So, you know, some people might read, Rob, Dwayne Johnson's comments saying, hey, you can't control the box office, as him trying to, you know, scapegoat or get out from the responsibility of it. But I look at that statement and I feel like we've been saying that for years. It's not the actor who's going to bring people in. It's going to be the marketing campaign has to get people interested. Word of mouth can't get out if you can't get people interested in going to see it at first. But anyway, Rob, you saw Dwayne's comments in the shadow of, there's no sugarcoating it, disastrous flop. But what did you think about his comments?
Well, you know, I heard him on NPR promoting the film. Really interesting discussion on NPR, and I was rooting for him. I mean, clearly, like he says here, he was committed, man. I mean, he underwent a total transformation to play this character. He immersed himself in this character, and as he pointed out, everybody who worked on the film gave it their all. You know, you think about, I mean, I think about movies like when the Shawshank Redemption came out, it didn't make very much money. It made like $25 million, which at the time wasn't that much money. And of course, it goes on to becoming one of the most beloved films of all time.
I think it's the top 3 greatest film ever made.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. And so I thought the marketing, the thing is, when you're showing a movie about sports, it has an inherent David versus Goliath story.
Yeah.
Usually somebody has. So the fact that he had a relationship, that he had to overcome addiction from painkillers and all the things that Mark Kerr had to deal with, and then he went on and became very successful and changed. There's an inherent story that I feel that they didn't emphasize in the marketing of the film. And look, you can always, I don't know, Sunday morning quarterback later, but the fact is, I think this movie was not well served by its marketing campaign, especially coming off of the successful festival run that it had.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have, Dwayne Johnson is out in front of these things. Like you said, nobody's tub thumping and going out there and making sure their movie's being heard about than Dwayne Johnson. And after listening to him on Terry Gross, I was like, he really knew this story. He knew everything about Mark Kerr. He did his research. He was immersed, man. And I genuinely feel bad for him because, when you make a movie, John, everybody starts out thinking they're going to win the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yep.
Everybody does. And he did everything he could to make sure, and he was getting Oscar buzz. That
Still is. Still
is. But I wish it would have made more money, only because the people that made this movie, including one of the Safdie brothers, put everything they had into it. Nobody half-assed this film. Nobody.
All right, guys, question is for you. Dwayne Johnson says, hey, man, we can't control the box office. Do you think that's him just, trying to sidestep responsibility? Or do you really agree with him? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on and talk about this. Tron Ares coming out. A movie that I said when they first announced it, channeling my best Chris Carr, for why? Why are you making it? I wasn't a big fan of Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was super excited about it. Music was great. Visuals were really good. But overall, I didn't love the film. I didn't quite know why they were making another one. But hey, listen, credit where it's due. The trailers have been banger. I've really liked the trailers.
Yeah.
I thought they've been really fun. They look really good. Rob, I know you spoke to somebody who saw the film last week. They enjoyed it. They said it was a lot of fun.
Popcorn muncher, he said.
It's a popcorn muncher. Well, the first reviews are now out. And I'm particularly interested because I have to see it 3 times in the next week.
Yeah.
Once with an audience in Kansas, once with an audience in Chicago, and once with an audience in my hometown. So they're all seeing it once, but I'm going to be seeing it 3 times. So I'm hoping I like it. Well, the first reviews are now out, and they are definitively okay. They're okay. As of this moment of this recording, the film's got a 61%. So that may go up a couple of points, may go down a couple of points, but it's on the Rotten Tomatoes meter. It's officially a red tomato for now. Could be changed by the end of the show. And let me give you the summation of the feeling I'm getting from it. The general overall consensus, and we'll read through a bunch of the reviews that are coming in, is it looks great. It's kind of fun. The music's great, but it could have been a better story. Now, to some critics, that's enough to give it a negative review. To other critics, that's not enough to give it a negative review. But I'm not reading, here's the thing, Rob, I'm not reading many of them saying they absolutely love it, and I'm not reading many of them saying they absolutely hate it.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying it seems to be definitively okay. Anyway, let's go over and read some of the reviews here, shall we? Up here at the top, we got Matt Zoller from RogerEbert.com who writes, he liked it. He said, Tron Ares is a spectacularly designed, swiftly paced, thoughtfully written, and directed with an inch of its neon-hued life. So that one really liked it. RogerEbert.com really liked it. Mark Kennedy from the Associated Press also liked it. Wrote, Leto does well here as the title character, able to deliver a few good lines while executing a rock star strut in a skin-tight suit, but it's Lee who steals the show, a very human action heroine for 2025. Screen International did not like it, writing, for all the creativity on display in Tron Ares, it's in service of a story with scant signs of life. So there's one of those things like, hey, it looks great, weaker story. Okay. Samantha Nielsen from Polygon also did not like it, writing, Roning's dazzling action sequences and killer soundtrack might be enough to satisfy fans, but Tron Ares feels just as likely to get lost among a sea of the type of films Tron inspired. All right, fair enough. Empire Magazine, they liked it. They said, a few key elements keep this data file from being totally corrupted. The real MVPs, however, are Nine Inch Nails, whose staggeringly brilliant soundtrack dominates the entire proceedings. Listen,
that's number one right there.
That for me will totally be enough.
Oh, yeah.
For me, if it's dazzling visuals, great action, and a thumping Nine Inch Nails soundtrack,
Like, who cares?
I'm going to walk out with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
That's just me. All right, Nerdist liked it. They said, by spending less time on the grid and making a more serious film, the franchise's third installment also loses some of its wonderful silliness, but it doesn't lose all of it. In some wonderful spots, it fully embraces it. Coming Soon liked it. They said, it's a very different movie that focuses on new characters, but it all works out to create a stellar cinematic experience that should be seen on the biggest screen possible. I like the guys over at Coming Soon. Deadline Hollywood wrote, it is entertaining enough. They liked it. It is entertaining enough on its own dazzling techno level, but you have to wonder what a Stanley Kubrick might have done with this setup and given it the real urgency and gravitas, maybe even insight that this Tron is missing. MovieWeb liked it, said, get your popcorn and 3D glasses ready because Tron Ares lives up to the hype. I don't know that I've heard a lot of hype, but it lives up to the hype. An eye candy buffet of astonishing visual effects, thrilling action, and a killer Nine Inch Nails soundtrack weaves a classic storyline into an exploration of AI's deadly potential. RTE liked it, saying, on a visual level alone, Tron Ares is worth seeing on the biggest screen that you can. It looks stunning, better to these eyes than any of the other effects-driven films this year. Surely a rake of Oscar nominations are in the offing. Talking about visual effects. Radio Times liked it, saying, a beautifully designed, if slightly hollow, blockbuster. Hey, you guys liked it, saying, Ares may not achieve the flawless balance of form and feeling it strives for, but it stands as a decent, heartfelt evolution of the Tron franchise. That's all I needed to hear. New York Magazine did not like it, saying, mostly when you watch Tron Ares, you become aware of the degree of which this franchise has exhausted its own metaphor. Fair enough. And Variety did not like it. We'll end with Variety here. Writes, whereas the original 1982 Disney film on which it was based felt ahead of its time, Sean Bailey's latest attempt to franchisify the Tron brand reads mostly as an exercise in nostalgia. So again, the general, you guys can agree or correct me if I'm wrong, but the general sense I'm getting from the reviews, the good and the bad, is visually really great, incredible soundtrack, kind of fun, but narratively could have, maybe should have been better, and it's not breaking any new ground. In other words,
It's all right.
it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. And you know what? I'll take it. Because when they started making this movie, if you had asked me, if we go back a year and a half ago and you asked me to lay odds, I would have put money on it that, oh, this film's going to be just critically hated and it's going to be terrible. But sounds like it's okay. Look, I'm still looking forward to it.
Me too.
I am. The trailers won me over. I'm still looking forward to it. There have been many a movie I've looked forward to that I walked out hating, but we'll see what happens here. Anyway, Rob, you're hearing all the reviews. What are you putting together as from these reviews we're seeing?
Well, like you said, I mean, look, the Tron franchise has never been A-list.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
and so as someone who made a documentary on the original Tron, I think this is a worthy successor. It's a worthy follow-up. It has some interesting ideas in it. And I have to say, Joaquin Roning, however you pronounce his last name, he put a picture up on Instagram, I think it was on Instagram, of him and his family, like his wife and his extended family, sitting at Mel's Diner on Sunset. And he said, this is the fourth time we've been able to come to this diner. And behind him, because it's on Sunset, the Sunset Strip, they had the gigantic building with the billboard, with the Tron Ares billboard.
Nice.
Because he directed a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. He directed Maleficent. He said, this is the fourth time we've been able to come here and sit underneath a giant billboard for one of my movies. And anybody that can be that excited, you know, I'm a fan of. I know he's never made a movie that I thought was totally cool, but he made he made me into a fan. Now, I think they made some really good choices. I know that Jared Leto loves Tron, so he was a big prime mover in getting this made. I guess 9 Inch Nails have producer credits on this, so them coming on board probably assured the film getting made. And I think, if nothing else, this movie was made by people that really wanted to make a good Tron movie. You know, I want to believe that. And the premise is interesting. I mean, I think the only thing I kind of miss from it, having heard this, is that the characters from Tron Legacy are not there. You know, Sam Flynn, who is Jeff Bridges' son, is not in the movie. He's like been
the runner of Flynn's Arcade,
relegated to the scrap heap of time. But I'm like, look, the fact that there's now 3 Tron movies. When I made my Tron documentary, I never thought we'd see another Tron movie because there was only one. And now there's 2 more and an animated series, and there's going to be spin-off games and all kinds of craziness. I can't believe it exists.
Do you have like a digital copy of that?
It's on the new Tron Blu-ray or 4K.
Oh, okay.
That got released last week.
By new, he means Tron Legacies.
Right.
Oh no, you mean the original Tron?
Yeah, the original Tron.
Did they not include something of your original documentary?
Yeah, in the new Tron that they just released.
Okay, yeah.
And it's 88 minutes. Actually, don't tell anybody, but you can watch my Making of Tron documentary on YouTube. Shh, I didn't put it there, but it's there.
You know what's interesting, too, from all the reviews? I've only heard, and I read a bunch more of them, not one negative thing, and nobody's saying one negative thing about Jared Leto in it.
No.
I know that was a concern for some people. The only time, and there's 3 or 4 times in all the reviews I read that Jared Leto gets mentioned is like, Leto does really good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you,
not one person, even the ones who didn't like the movie, said one negative thing about Jared Leto in it.
I interviewed Donald Moat, who did the makeup effects, the makeup, and did Jared Leto's makeup, and it's going to be on Designing Hollywood. And it was a good interview, and he really enjoyed making the film as well. So.
All right, guys, with that down, question is for you. What do you think about these reviews? I know there are probably a lot of people that are expecting to see a 5%, 10% on this. Fair enough. Hey, I would have said the same thing a year ago before seeing the first trailers, but looks like it's okay. I don't know. Do you guys have any interest in seeing the film? I know I do. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, time for us to play a little round of Overreaction.
Oh, yeah.
I keep hearing from you guys and all your hot takes. So we invited you guys in our community tab or post tab on the YouTube channel to send in some of your hot takes. And then Rob and I will adjudicate whether we believe your hot take is an overreaction or not. Jonathan's got a bunch of them picked out over there. So Jonathan, what do we got?
All right, hot take number 1 coming at you real hot, Rob.
Okay.
Is this an overreaction or not? When we hear from Indy J, The Paper season 1 was far better than both The Office and Parks and Rec's first season.
Yes, Rob is the definitive
the
expert on
Office
this.
virgin.
Maybe we should switch this out because
Well, you got to answer either way, so you might as well start.
He's never seen any of these things.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say that not knowing anything about them, I think that's an overreaction.
You know what? It's not an overreaction.
Really?
Because here's the thing. I didn't love The Paper the first few episodes. It seemed to start to find its footing as it got towards the end of the season, and it's not bad. It's not bad. But as much as The Office and Parks and Rec are amongst my all-time favorites, the reality is both of their season 1s were also not bad. I mean, The Office had 1 or 2 really killer episodes in its first season. So did Parks and Rec. But it took both The Office and Parks and Rec until season 2 that they really started to find their footing.
It was the timing. It was the gelling of the characters.
So while I may not say that definitively The Paper season 1 is better than The Office or Parks and Rec season 1, it's actually kind of close enough that I'm going to say it's not an overreaction.
Wow. Okay.
So again, we're only talking about the season 1s, and it's pretty close to The Office and Parks and Rec season 1.
Well, of course, my insight is
Limited.
not what it could be.
Rob is still a Parks and Rec and an Office virgin. All right. Let's get on to the next thing. What do we got up next?
All right. Thank you also to Superfan Emma Frost for the 5 gift memberships there. Thank you. All right, John, to you now. This one's about MASH, I'm sure. Is this a hot take or not? And an overreaction when we hear from Ben the Great. Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars will have an AI version of Stan Lee making a cameo.
I cannot believe. Have you seen this? Like this is a thing that's going around online right now that people are saying, oh, for sure they're going to do a Stan Lee, an AI Stan Lee cameo. No way.
Yeah,
no chance.
I mean, they presented that AI hologram, at LA Comic-Con.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a different thing.
Yeah, I think
right?
so.
This is an overreaction. Now, what I can see is, and they've kind of done this a little bit before, I can see a Stan Lee face on a billboard in the background, or even an audio recording of Stan Lee being played on a speaker system that a character is walking by,
Sure.
or something like that to keep Stan Lee's DNA in the movie. But there is no chance that they are going to create a CGI/AI Stan Lee to be the cameo in it. I mean, unless the entire family and estate of Stan Lee goes to Marvel and say, we would love it if you did. I really, Kevin Feige had way too much respect for Stan Lee. I don't see them do it. So I'm going to call that an overreaction. Rob?
I think it's an overreaction too. The only thing, this is a really, I don't know if this is a deep cut or not, but in Steven Spielberg's AI, when they go to the city, there's a thing called Dr. No, Know, and you sit down and Dr. No looks like an Einsteinian scientist with a mustache, and you go in and ask questions. Unless Stan Lee is an in-universe artificially generated something or other, I just think it would be in poor taste.
The thing is that they haven't used his cameo since he last did it, which was
Yeah,
Endgame
right.
in
Yeah,
19.
if they were going to do it, they would have done it by
all
now.
these other phases haven't had it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I mean, his cameos are fun, but everybody knows we as a society are going to have to come to grips with the idea.
Well, let's not go on to that whole big
No, but I
issue
mean,
topic, but
I
yeah.
just think it's not appropriate.
Yeah, no, it's not appropriate, and I don't think that they would want to
Plus,
do
it breaks the fourth wall, too.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
What's next?
Okay, next up, back to you, Rob. I promise this is about something you probably know about.
Maybe.
Is this an overreaction when we hear from Awareness with all these S's? The Fantastic Four did a better job of getting the audience caught up and setting up the world than Superman.
Oh, I think that's an overreaction, because I think that James Gunn's Superman did a really great job of setting up the DC universe. Fantastic Four was setting up a universe that they're not going to be in for very long.
That we're never going to see again.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I would say that I think it did a good job of setting up the team as characters, but it was Superman that set up a world that we're going to inhabit. So I think Superman did a better job. I think that's an overreaction.
Yeah, I also think it's an overreaction. Like, look, I think both Fantastic Four and Superman being, this is a brand new DC, not the one you knew before, and Fantastic Four is, this isn't the Marvel universe that you know. They both did a great job of really establishing right up front, this is Earth, whatever. And I'll tell you what, the use at the beginning of Superman of just the text on screen, in 30 seconds, we knew everything we needed to know about the world. They didn't need 15 minutes of footage showing, oh, okay, superheroes have been around and blah, blah. Nope. 30 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. This is the world. And Superman just lost his first fight. Boom. And he drops in the ground. I thought they both set up their worlds really, really well. So I'm going to say it's an overreaction to say that Fantastic Four did it better than Superman.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
All right, next up. Let's see. We went Rob, John, Rob. Okay, so back to you, John. Is this an overreaction when we hear from Lil Goozy? If Tron Ares isn't well received critically and flops, this will be the last Tron movie.
That is not an overreaction. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I was surprised that they made this one
Yeah.
after Tron Legacy. Like, I mean, look, Tron Legacy didn't massively flop or anything like that, but it underperformed what they wanted it to do, what they thought it could do. And again, I didn't think it was all that good. But if this one, like, look, I'm glad you pointed out both the financial results and how well it's received. Because you can have a movie that has good financial results that isn't well received, and you can have a movie that is well received but that doesn't have good financial results. I think if it has good financial results or is well received, I think that the heartbeat is still there. I think it could possibly get another one. But in your scenario, if this flops and isn't well received, I think that's it. It's done. We may see Tron as a Netflix limited animated series. We may see something like that in the future, but I do not think it's an overreaction to say if this thing is poorly received and completely flops, I think that's it. I don't think we're getting any more Tron movies. Rob, what do you think?
I think that's not an overreaction at all, and I think you're exactly right. I mean, look, why would you make another Tron movie if this doesn't work? And it's it rounds out a trilogy. It's weird to say that there's 3 Tron movies. You can probably, in a year get a box set of Tron movies, which is something I never thought I'd ever see. Maybe they'd put the animated series in for good measure. But yeah, if it doesn't do well, they're not going to make another one.
All right, what's next?
Okay, next up, going over to you, Rob. Is this an overreaction? We hear from Gregory Robinson Gaming. The lengthy wait for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will hurt its box office.
I don't think so. I mean, look, I think that these movies are...
So you're calling it an overreaction?
I'm calling it an overreaction. Yes. I don't think it will hurt its box office. I think that, look, especially in this day and age when you're waiting 2 years for your streaming show to come back, I don't think the groundbreaking nature of these films...
Ask Wednesday if it hurt it, that long wait in between.
Well, but I don't know if that's kind of an anomaly too, because it was a zeitgeist show and then it still does, but I don't think it's going to hurt it. I think it's an overreaction because these films have done, the second one did better than the first, and I think this one's going to do better than the second one. Only because these films, the quality of them is so high. Why would you? People who love them love them. I don't think that they're going to be any less beloved because it takes more time for them to come out.
I'm going to say it's not an overreaction. And listen, I think those 2 Spider-Verse movies are de facto the 2 best Spider-Man movies ever
incredible.
made. I think they're incredible. Now, that is not to say. Notice that the question was not saying that the new Spider-Verse movie is going to flop. You're saying that you think it's going to hurt it. I believe that. So I don't think that's an overreaction. But I mean that in the sense that the new Spider-Verse movie could still very well be a hit. I just think it would have been a little bit bigger of a hit had it not taken 4 years or 5 years, whenever it does eventually come out. Because I know they got a date now, but they've had dates before and missed them. So I think when you're going 4 or 5 years, I do think there's going to be an impact. Again, the impact might be the difference between it making, $700 million instead of $790 million. I still think it'll be big. I still think it'll be a hit. But if you're asking, did it hurt it having this long of a wait? I'm going to say yes. I think however good it does, I think it would have done better if it came out within 3 years.
Yeah. But to be fair, and I agree with you, but from the first to the second was 5 years, 2018 to 2023.
Well, yeah, a part of that was...
But now you have that hype established, so now it fizzles, I mean.
Yeah, part of that was they didn't make the first one with plans in place to do the next. They waited, they had theoretical plans, but they really waited to see how the film did. Yeah. With this, they made number 2 knowing they were making number 3, and I don't know. Well, we'll have to wait and see. All right, what's next?
Okay. Switching over to you, John, on our final overreaction question. Is this an overreaction? We hear from Jason Williams. Robert Downey Jr. will be the focus of Avengers Doomsday marketing.
I think that is an overreaction. Listen, will Robert Downey Jr. be featured in the marketing? Somebody wrote into us the other day and said, I really don't think they should show Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom in the Avengers Doomsday marketing. What are you smoking? Marketing is meant to sell the movie, and that's one of the big draws. So we will definitely see Robert Downey Jr. featured in it, but never has Marvel ever not put the vast majority of the emphasis in their marketing on their heroes. Mm-hmm. Even in the Thanos movies, even in Infinity War and Endgame, yes, you had Thanos featured, but it was not the main thing in the marketing. The main thing in the marketing was still the heroes, and they focused on the heroes. So we're going to get Robert Downey Jr. and Doom in the marketing, no doubt. But Marvel's playbook is to put the heavier emphasis in their marketing on the heroes, and they got a lot of heroes to cover. So I'm going to saying that he's going to be the focus of the marketing. No, that's an overreaction. Rob, what do you think?
I don't think he's going to be the focus of the marketing because it's an Avengers movie, and they're going to want to focus on all of the characters that they brought together. I mean, the movie's called Doomsday, so you can't get away from the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doomsday, and certainly that's a big part of the story. But I think they're going to also emphasize the fact that this is not the Robert Downey show. This is the Avengers.
Yeah.
And certainly he's going to be, but he's always been a part of the marketing. So it's just going to be, I think it's going to be par for the course.
He was the first part of the marketing when they announced the movie. This is the crazy thing, because I still had people write into me, Rob, and say, no, John, I think you're right. I don't think they're going to put Robert Downey Jr. in the marketing. When they announced the movie
At Comic-Con.
they literally marched Robert Downey Jr. on stage in the doctor. Yes, exactly. They took the mask off, and you don't think they're going to use him in the marketing? They literally kicked off this whole thing with Robert Downey Jr. He's absolutely going to be a part of it. That's one of the big draws to the movie. It's just that I don't think it's going to be all on him. He's not going to be. You're right. I like the way you put it, Rob. This is still an Avengers movie. It's not a Doctor Doom movie. It is called Avengers Doomsday for sure, but it is still an Avengers movie. And with all the heroes that they have, I just think the main focus is going to be on the heroes.
Plus, what's really great when they do this, when they promote these Avengers movies, is they either send a bunch of heroes out or combinations of the heroes. They're always fun to watch on the late night talk shows, assuming they're still on the air by then.
That's one of the good things about these movies, man. You got so many actors. You got a lot of actors you can send out to the talk shows.
I just love watching them riff on each other.
All right,
riff
guys.
off of each other.
And that'll wrap up today's little session of Overreaction. Thank you to all you guys who sent in those hot takes for us to react to, and we'll do more again in the future. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on and talk about this. One of the most tumultuous productions of any movie I can ever recall is this Michael Jackson biopic. For those of you who are a little bit behind on what happened, this is crazy what happened. So Lionsgate and Antoine Fuqua get the rights from the Michael Jackson estate with all the guidelines to make this Michael Jackson biopic. So Antoine Fuqua, great director, goes on and makes his movie. And everybody loves it. At the studio, everybody thinks this is amazing. This is going to win awards. This is going to be $1 billion film, blah, blah, blah. But oh, wait. The Michael Jackson estate did an oopsie. They forgot that in a settlement, a legal settlement they made with a family many years earlier to that, it was specified in their settlement with the Michael Jackson estate that any future dramatization of Michael Jackson cannot include our family, cannot include the kid, cannot include the parents. Nothing involving the kid and parents can be a part of any dramatization you make about Michael Jackson in the future. Okay, deal was made. And they forgot to tell Lionsgate. Michael Jackson's estate forgot. It's like, oh, did we forget to tell you that this 45 minutes of footage you have in the movie, you can't have it after they already shot it. So Antoine Fuqua and the folks at Lionsgate had to go back to the drawing boards. Like, we literally got to take like 45 minutes to an hour of footage of our movie and just throw it away. What the hell do we do? Now, to get us caught up in the context here, fast forward now, and they doing the reshoots, they're getting everything together, and the plan becomes that they're going to do Michael Jackson's biopic as 2 separate movies. That they're going to, because the movie was coming in at close to 4 hours, and hey, why not make $2 billion instead of $1 billion? So they're going to split it in 2. But now apparently the damage done by the oopsie has been so extensive, they've now kind of changed their plans. The folks over at Puck, Matt Bellani, who you guys probably saw in the studio, Matt Bellani in the Puck, he shared this. The MJ movie is ready for its close-up. At this point, the highest stakes film of next year may be Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, that, due to the rights issues with a former child molestation accuser, had to be totally reconceived by director Antoine Fuqua after they shot the film, and writer John Logan. Additional photography has now wrapped, and the film ends after Jackson's triumphant rise to fame in the 1980s, so probably around Thriller. So all the footage of Michael Jackson's later King of Pop and scandal-plagued years, including 2 weeks of shooting at Neverland Ranch, now owned by Ron Burkle, is unusable. Producer Graham King's plan is to make a second Michael movie that would include all that stuff, plus a significant amount of additional yet-to-be-shot footage with stars Jafar Jackson, who's Michael Jackson's nephew, Coleman Domingo, and Miles Teller. But that will now depend on, yes, you guessed it, how the first film, is received by audiences next April. If it's a hit, or if all signs are pointing in that direction, they'll greenlight part 2, and if not, producers eat all that unused footage. Remember, the Jackson estate is paying for costs associated with the production debacle, as well they should. Lionsgate and Universal, which has international rights to the film, will attach the Michael trailer to Wicked for Good in November. So that's where now we got to get our first look at Michael back at CinemaCon 2 years ago, and it looked great. So basically, here's where they're at. So they've made the first movie now. It's going to end in the era of the 80s, probably around Thriller, when he becomes a global sensation. All right. Now, they still have all this footage that they can use. They still have all this footage that they can use that was just going to be made a second film. But now, because of all the damage, they decided, okay, let's make sure that the first film does the way we think it's going to do. Then we will take all that unused footage, do some additional photography, and then make that the sequel. Kind of a slight deviation from the plan of just chopping the film in half and releasing it as 2, which was what was reported earlier. So a little bit of a change of direction. You know, Rob, Jonathan and I were talking about this earlier today. This makes sense. I think this sounds like a sound, reasonable approach. Like, you could just go for it. You could. And I think there would be nothing wrong with them doing that. But to say, look, this has been so botched. Rob, imagine you're with Francis Ford Coppola as he's shooting The Godfather. And then you're on the final day of shoots and you wrap. Great. But then somebody comes to you, somebody from the studio says, oh, hey, we just found out we can't have the Sonny character in the movie. You can't just edit out Sonny because other things refer to it.
He's interwoven.
He's interwoven into the story even when he's not on screen. Now you got to like scrap half your movie, go back to the drawing board, reimagine it, try to get that thing out. So for them to say, you know what? Okay, we're going to take a breath. We're going to take a beat. We've got the first film now packaged, ready to go. We got all this other footage ready to go too, but we're just going to make sure the first movie works out the way we expect it to be. Then we'll go ahead and complete the second film. I think it sounds reasonable, but yet again, another chapter in what truly is one of the weirdest sounding debacles in film production I've ever heard. And it's not the fault of the studio or the filmmaker in this case.
No.
Anyway, Rob, you're reading this report coming from Apollonie. What do you make of it?
Well, first of all, I think they're lucky in the sense that the Michael Jackson story, the 70s and the whole Jackson family and the Jackson Five.
It's so rich by itself.
Rich by itself. You take it all the way up to the triumph of releasing Thriller, if that's what they're going to end.
Because you're also covering off the wall. I mean,
yeah,
it's
you're
huge.
covering off the wall, like all that stuff. Billie Jean, that whole, all that stuff is really, really interesting. And then you end it on a triumphant note. And this is uncanny, by the way, this casting, his nephew. It's just insane.
By the way, when you see him on screen
oh, dude,
as his uncle, I remember having to do a double take. It's like, okay, so that's just old footage of Michael. That's not footage of Michael. That's actually his nephew. It's crazy how much he looks and sounds like his uncle.
And the Scandal years is a different kind of a movie. So I think, look, it's unfortunate that they weren't to have to do all this work and have it scrapped. I totally understand that. You know, what's really interesting is our friend Cliff Stevenson was the on-set documentarian of this movie.
Yes, he was. Yep.
So I don't know what they're going to let him talk about. They probably aren't going to delve into this, but he was there.
Do you know how hard it is for me? So we've got this friend, Cliff, who we've had, is in my documentary, Movie Trailers of Love Story, and we've had on the show before.
He's been on movie, what was the show we did before? The movie, we watch the movie and then we'd review it. He was on those episodes.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Oh, yeah. We've had him on a few times. He's great. But do you know how hard it is for me? And I do. I am so good about this. When I know he's like, I've been on the phone with him. It's like, hey, you want to grab dinner next week or something? He goes, oh, I can't. I'm in Brazil on set of this upcoming movie. Right? Do you know how hard it is for me? And I'm sure you feel the same way, to not ask him about that movie. And I don't. I'm very good that way. Like when I know he's on set of this or that, I never ask him about the movie. I let him keep.
But that's why we're all still friends.
Yes.
You know, I mean, people are always asking me, why don't you know so many people? Why don't you call them up? And I'm like, well, the reason I'm still friends with them is because I don't call them up and bother them and ask them for things all the time. But yeah, I mean, it's true, and you know, they can't talk about it anyway, so you put them in an awkward position. Although I do want to give a shout out to Cliff's lovely wife Lisa, who is letting me write articles for Lionsgate Limited's physical media site, and they are killing it, putting out direct to consumer, because there's no one's buying discs in stores anymore. They started this great division, and Lisa Stevenson lets me write articles. My latest one went up last week on Jacob's Ladder. They're releasing it on 4K. So you go, Lisa Stevenson.
But back to Michael now.
Back to Michael. Well, yeah, they're putting it out, and I just think that it's a good way to go. It's too bad that, I don't know what you do. What an unfortunate experience.
Oh.
But you know what? I'm really looking forward to this movie. I think Anton Fuqua, he's a fantastic director. The man's never let me down. I mean, we're talking Training Day, Anton Fuqua.
Oh, dude, I love, I was very lucky enough. I've told the story before, but he came into studio once to sit down with me for like a good half hour. And I could not have been more impressed with him. Not just that he's such a visionary storyteller, but even when we talked off camera, his appreciation for film history.
Oh yeah.
Like we were just like, he was just referencing these films like, oh, like when you take influences from like blah, blah, blah. It's like, he's such a student of film history too. And I was just really impressed with the dude. Became a really big fan of his that day.
I'm a huge fan of his, but I just wanted to make sure I got this one right. Do you know what he directed? He is not beyond just going back and he directed Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he can go do Training Day and win Denzel an Oscar.
He did that little Magnificent Seven remake too, which I thought he did a really good job.
He did a really good job.
So which one was better, White House Down or Olympus Has Fallen?
Oh, Olympus Has Fallen was better. I mean, look.
Yeah.
No shade on Roland Emmerich, but Olympus Has Fallen's a banger.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a banger.
White House Down isn't even good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's good elements.
I mean, you know what Olympus Has Fallen was? Olympus Has Fallen was like, if canon films still existed today, they would have made Olympus Has Fallen. I love those movies. I don't care what anyone says. Gerald Butler he's a goat. Can't wait to see Greenland 2. Can't come soon enough.
By the way, I'll go on a record right now. I believe Michael is going to be the highest grossing musical biopic of all time.
Ooh, more than Bohemian Rhapsody.
More than Bohemian Rhapsody.
That means it's got to close in on $1 billion.
Hit the billion. I believe the Michael Jackson film will hit the $1 billion mark.
Do I think that's an overreaction? No. No, I don't. I think you might be correct about that, John, because Michael Jackson's popularity has never really waned.
No. I mean, he's still look, anyway, I could go off in a direction on that, but we got to wrap this up. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? So they've got a wrap now on the first film. Their plan now is to wait to see how it performs. I think we all know how it's going to perform. And then they'll take all that extra footage they've got, do some extra shooting, and create the second film. Good move, bad move, whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, guys, let's go on and talk about this.
Family.
You know what? For those of you who watch the show regularly, you guys remember a little bit ago we talked about Fast 11. And like, is this thing even going to get made? Jason Momoa did an interview recently where he mentioned, oh yeah, there's still no script. It's like this movie was already supposed to be out. It was already supposed to be out in theaters. Actually, it was supposed to be out in theaters and already on streaming by now. That's how far behind they are. And Jason Momoa said they don't even have a script. Well, according to a story now in the Wall Street Journal, the problems are much deeper than we thought, to the point that there's actually a question about whether or not Fast 11 is even going to get made. Now, full disclosure, I'm a big Vin Diesel fanboy. I love Vin Diesel. That being said, this thing is becoming a bit of a mess. The folks over at Screen Rant wrote the following. Furious 7 and The Fate of the Furious made over $1 billion at the box office. However, the franchise's popularity has dwindled recently, and F9 and Fast X's disappointing box office returns show how audiences aren't as invested in Dominic Toretto and his family story as they once were. Even Jason Momoa, the fact that those movies were crap, I'm sure had something to do with it. Even Jason Momoa's unhinged villain couldn't save the last entry. Jason Momoa has been the best part of the last two movies. And he was only in the last one. Like, he was really good at it. Anyway, the first half of a two-part finale, Fast X, ends with a massive cliffhanger where Dom and his son try to survive a massive explosion caused by Momoa's Dante. However, audiences may never find out what happened to Dom, as Fast 11 still has no release date. They keep saying April 2027, but nothing's been locked. And there may not be one soon if Universal and Diesel can't make some compromises. Where is it? Universal is taking a more cautious approach to the franchise's final chapter. In a new report from the Wall Street Journal, it's been revealed that Fast 11's budget is a significant concern for the studio. The initial script reportedly would have required a budget of $250 million. Remember, Fast X had a finalized budget of $340 million. So this one's coming in at almost $100 million less, but Universal is not willing to make the film for more than $200 million. Part of that budget goes to the film's massive cast and the expenses of shooting on international locations. According to the report, Universal is looking to limit the overseas shooting locations and reduce the film's cast, which is not going to go over well with Vin Diesel. They want to reduce the film's cast by either shrinking characters' roles or removing them altogether. That's a major challenge for the next film, as it already has a massive roster and is expected to also feature the return of Dwayne Johnson and Gal Gadot. All right.
She's dead, man.
Well, so is all of them. All of them have been dead at one point.
This is all going to take place in limbo.
So, I am not surprised to hear this. Again, it was just the other week we were talking on this show. It's like, is this Fast 11 movie ever even going to happen? And now Wall Street Journal saying there's some major butting of heads here. They want to drastically reduce the budget. Listen, if they do get this thing to 200 million, that is a 30% reduction in the budget of the last film. 35% reduction in the budget of the last film. They want to reduce locations. They want to reduce the number of characters that get to appear in it. They want to do all these things. They just want to simplify it, because the reality is, I think the last one made $700 and something million, which, by the way, what director wouldn't kill to have a movie that makes $700 million? But that doesn't cut it when your movie costs $350 million to make.
Plus marketing.
And it represents a major decline in the returns that the franchise has been getting. And the fact that the movies sucked. And I'm a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, but 9 and 10 were terrible. They just were. Of course, that's a subjective opinion. You may have liked it, and if you did, that's great. But
no, they're terrible, and I'm a huge
terrible.
fan of that franchise, as everyone knows.
Those two, to us, were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. So, by the way, did you hear my BFF Tyrese got arrested recently.
Jeez.
I know what Tyrese is going to say about all this, but
He'll be on the show tomorrow.
we'll have him on tomorrow. Special guest. Yeah, right after I have Adam Aaron on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what, Rob? I said on our last show that we talked about this. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. Like it's probably still going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think the needle's moved a little bit here. With Wall Street Journal now kind of reporting what all of us have been suspecting. And as every month that goes by, I think the chances lessen and lessen more and more. And listen, Vin isn't getting any younger. I mean, Vin's now in his mid-50s. Jonathan, can you look that up?
Yeah.
I mean, that dude looks amazing.
Didn't he just do Furion? I mean, I'm wondering where the new Chronicles of Riddick movie is.
Oh, man. He's 58.
He's closer to 60 than he is to 50. And again, if only the rest of us could look like he does at 58. If we could look that good when we hit 58, God bless. But I mean, I think the needle has now moved for me, Rob, where it's like, okay, I won't be surprised if it does get made. Because before I won't be surprised if it doesn't, but I'm still expecting that it will. It's flipped for me now. I won't be shocked if it does get made, but I think if I had to bet $1 right now, I think I would bet that we're never going to see Fast 11 at this point. But I mean, I don't know. It seems like if you're Universal right now, why would you spend the money on it? I don't know, Rob, you're reading this. Are you surprised to hear any of this? And where do you think this whole thing with Fast 11 might be going?
Well, John, I am surprised because Vin Diesel's a producer as well. And if you look at his other franchise, look at the Chronicles of Riddick franchise. Started with Pitch Black. Then you had the Chronicles of Riddick, which was this big, giant, necromonger sci-fi epic, which underperformed. So then they did the next one, which was just called Riddick, right? It was just Riddick. And they brought down the budget. They had to make it smaller. It was a more self-contained movie, more along the lines of the first one. And that's what you do. The last two Fast and Furious movies, it wasn't just Fast 10, it was Fast 9 as well. They both lost money. They both were not great films. They both went over the top and they strayed too far away. A good producer would be like, you know what, we got to pull back. I know everybody wants to make money, but I'm sorry, the last two movies don't justify the paychecks you got on those last two movies.
Right.
And if you want to do another one and you want to get a paycheck, we're going to scale it back. I'm going to be a responsible producer. And the idea that you can't make a good Fast and the Furious movie for $200 million is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
It's absurd. Do what you said you're going to do. Bring it back, shoot it on the streets of LA, make it a cause celeb to bring back production to Los Angeles. No one's making movies here. Make it an ode, a love letter to the first film, bring it back full circle, and really concentrate on current car culture in Los Angeles. The whole city will rally behind you because no one's working. So it's like, do that. Make it for $200 million. Easy peasy. Let's do it. And you say to your cast, look, we'd love to have you in this movie, but it's favored nations. We're all making the same amount of money except Vin, obviously, and maybe Dwayne or Gal. But for the other part, you know, everybody else, your favored nations. You're all getting the same amount of money. Come play with us for a few days. We want to make the last movie.
I don't know that Dwayne would come back.
Yeah,
At this point.
I remember we were all shocked when the news came out that said he was going to come back. The plan was to have him come back. I'm not 100% sure they do. They're trying to cut budget. That's probably, you got to start
Hey,
there.
man.
He's
the
also
Drift too.
There you go.
I would say this too. As much as I'll use the word hated 9 and 10. Although I did think 10 was a little bit better than 9.
Little bit.
I want to see them end strong. I really
me
do.
Too.
Like I actually want Fast 11 to happen because listen, as bad as it's gotten, overall, this is a franchise that has brought me a lot of joy and a lot of fun
me too.
and a lot of entertainment. And I would love, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, to be able to look back and say, hey, but at least they nailed the landing. End this thing off well. Because listen, I'm not like you, Rob. I didn't start off liking Fast and Furious. I did not like 1, 2, or 3. And it eventually got me on board. And then I liked the big middle part of all the franchise. I loved it. And I would love for this thing to end strong. So I hope they can find a way to do it. But it's going to take an ego check from Vin, from Tyrese, from everybody else involved. Because you're right, Rob. It's like, Yeah, we know. As you do more sequels, your paychecks go up. Not going to happen this time, guys. We're going to have to go back to what we were paying everybody on Fast 4 or something like that. It's going to take some belt tightening. It's going to take some people making some sacrifices. But I hope they're willing to do it because I would like to see them end this thing strong.
Or just have a movie about Sun Kang and Gal Gadot going back to Japan.
No one's going to go see that.
That's all we need.
No one's going to go see that.
All you have to do is put ninjas in it. Ninjas and cars and drifting in Japan.
Justice for Hans Killer. That's my hashtag.
Gal
Justice
Gadot
for Hans Killer.
co-leading. Come on.
They were an item. I would totally watch the heck out of that movie.
And you'd have a lot of seats to pick from.
No, man, the people would love it.
A lot of people in there.
Han takes on ninjas
Somebody said Vin should paint himself green and be a new Ninja Turtle.
Jeez.
And by the way, I'm going to throw this out there too. With Vin now being 58, looks great for 58, but being 58, I hope they don't keep trying to pass him off as an early 30s guy. Embrace it. Like, give him a little bit of
it's been 25 years.
Give him a little bit of a, because you'd think watching the movies that he hasn't aged today. I hope they give it a little bit of a, I'm getting too old for this shit kind of feel to it, right? Give him that. Give him that extra new little layer that as he's getting older, right?
Maybe he actually loses a fight.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe he actually loses one fight. It would be interesting to see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? There's a report coming out of the Wall Street Journal saying they're not together yet on getting this thing made, and it may not happen. I still think there's definitely a chance it gets made, but I'm starting to think maybe it doesn't.
Ride or die.
Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. Listen, I'm going to have to ask you guys to indulge me here. This is normally the part of the show where we go and take the questions you guys have sent in. However, two things have come up. Number one is I am leaving today. I'm getting on the road to head out for the movie meetups, and I'm leaving like right now.
Dude, you're going to Kansas City, Missouri.
I'm going to Missouri, my friend.
That's insanity.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Susan
Can't
Powder.
wait. And I'm going home. I'm going to hit Chicago. Going to hit Indianapolis. But we were still going to do some questions. But then for those of you who are watching this show after the fact, we botched the opening of the show.
Yeah, Rob messed everything up.
Camera
It's my
problems.
fault.
We had some mic problems. So we had to start the show later. And so I'm just out of time. So with your indulgence, if you guys don't mind, we'll get caught up on the questions tomorrow. But I've got to go hit the road. And so we're going to end today's episode of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day, guys. Big special thank you to all you guys who did send in questions that we didn't get to. We'll get to them tomorrow, I promise. I also want to thank Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
Robert Meyer-Burnett.
Drive safe, sir.
And there is a show tomorrow, guys. Jonathan and Rob will be here in studio. I'll just be remoting in from the road. And I hope you guys will come back and join us for tomorrow's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Appreciate you all. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.